In a dim underground chamber, a red-haired man gravely inspects his fallen comrade. The air is thick with suffocation. This is no ordinary injury. Rage instantly ignites the red-haired man's eyes. He roars in shock, demanding the culprit's identity, unable to believe someone dared to strike red blood so viciously. Shift to the vast starry sky. Kneeling disciples gaze in shock at the falling figure. It's not just a powerful warrior, it's the master they've longed for. Above the clouds, two disciples sob, swearing to revive their master at any cost. A familiar voice cuts through. Stop crying. Through teary eyes, they can barely believe reality. To prove it's not a dream, the master flicks their foreheads with an indulgent smile. The physical touch sends waves of shock and tearful joy through the disciples. I am back, Yibai declares majestically, radiating light. The girls embrace in tears, while Yi Bei's eyes lock onto the exciting reunion reward popping up on his system interface. Yi Bei coolly analyzes the system rules, learning that mere physical contact can grant disciples a century of cultivation. A bold and cunning teaching plan forms in his mind. Under the stars, a mischievous smirk plays on Yi Bei's lips as he summons a glowing god whip. To his disciples, it looks like the terrifying majesty of a god. Feigning sternness, he scolds them for their lack of combat skills. Under the guise of punishment, he orders 10 lashes. The girls tremble, too terrified to resist. The golden whip lashes down with a howling wind, striking the disciples. The scene is tense, but the seemingly cruel punishment hides a secret blessing. Yet, after the impact, the disciple is shocked to feel a surge of power. Her cultivation skyrockets with the blow, turning fear into disbelief and joy. Confused, but feeling the power surge, the disciples are a mix of shame and gratitude. Yi Bei retracts his whip, secretly pleased with his obedient students. The punishment ends. The girls collapse on the clouds, panting and glowing with aura. Yi Bei isn't satisfied. Realizing support types lack damage, he needs to find a fighter. Yi Bei floats in the void, gazing into the deep starry sky. A plan forms in his mind. This reunion is merely the prologue to his return to dominance. Night falls. Recalling the feud from 300 years ago, red light flickers in Yi Bei's eyes. He vows to settle the blood debt with the 9 holy lands, one by one. Back inside, a disciple cautiously mentions the whereabouts of the 4th sister, Chi Tai Bai. The atmosphere instantly heavy, the name strikes a nerve. Hearing Tai Bai attack the Obsidian Star Holy Land alone and vanished, Yi Bei slams the table. Shock mixes with worry. That place is a death trap. Luo Guang City. Location confirmed. Yi Bei refuses to wait another second. He decisively orders an immediate departure, his eyes burning with resolve. 3 days later, on the Noah's Arkansas, Yi Bei complains about his slow cultivation, while outside, his disciples are appalled by his humble bragging speed. Finally, Yi Bei clenches his fist, savoring the breakthrough. Ahead lies a new city, new challenges, and a disciple waiting to be saved. Amidst the tavern's clamor, Yi Bei cuts through the noise, demanding news of the Tai by Sword Villa. The answer is a shock. The once great sword master has fallen, selling everything she owns just to drown herself in wine. Patrons lament the villa's lost glory, their words heavy with regret. Suddenly, an arrogant shout shatters the nostalgia as aggressive figures interrupt, filling the air with instant tension. Disappointed but undeterred, Yi Bei sternly reprimands his impulsive disciple before moving out. Outside the Tai by Sword Villa, beneath the fluttering banners, shouts demanding wine echo through the air. The once solemn villa entrance is now clogged with a queue of tribute bearers. They come not for swords, but to trade priceless treasures for a mere chance to enter. A scene of absurd fanaticism. Blending into the crowd, Yi Bei calmly produces a bottle. The board stall keeper's eyes instantly bulge. The overflowing spiritual energy leaves him drooling, unable to believe such a divine treasure is real. A single cup poured releases a fragrance that curls like azure smoke. As the keeper swoons in ecstasy, Yi Bei delivers a cryptic message, a code meant only for one specific person. A poem, a cask of wine, a long song, a sword asking the sky. The verse is sent inside with the wine. Little Shaner watches the divine liquor disappear, eyes brimming with tears of envy and injustice. While waiting, Yi Bei has to fend off his clingy disguised maids. Surrounded by a pink, romantic aura, even the supreme Devil Emperor feels a headache coming on from their overwhelming affection. Meanwhile, deep within the villa, a thunderous energy begins to pulse. It foreshadows a clash of power and speed about to erupt on the stage of Chapter 13. Inside, the room is a disaster of shattered jars. The legendary sword master lies sprawled in disarray, drunk and hazy, seeking escape from reality at the bottom of a bottle. Though drunk, she sharply corrects her disciple's sword form. Behind her glazed eyes lies a deep yearning for her late ancestor and a grief that refuses to fade. Clarity is fleeting as the addiction takes hold again. She impatiently dismisses her student, her dull eyes only lighting up when the old servant announces, "The wine has arrived." But seeing only a single cup, disappointment explodes into rage. She leaps down, pinning the servant to the floor, her terrifying aura shattering every cup in the vicinity. The rage halts the moment the scent hits her. It strikes like lightning, bringing instant tears. It's her master's scent. Trembling, she demands the identity of the sender, her voice thick with longing. As the servant recites the first line, the cup slips from her hand. Upon hearing the second, she grabs him frantically, her eyes burning with a flame called hope. Where is he? Without waiting for an answer, a purple streak blasts through the roof. Drunkenness and despair are instantly forgotten. She must see him now. In the courtyard, Yibei dons a grotesque mask, a playful smirk hidden beneath. The fourth sister descends from the sky, forcing down her emotional storm to coldly question the stranger. Facing his former disciple, Yibei ruthlessly mocks her rusted state, vowing to grind this scrap iron back into a sword. His words cut deep, causing her control to snap as she screams for the source of the poem. When words fail, swords speak. She strikes with fierce precision, demanding the truth. Yet Yibei remains composed behind his mask, his overwhelming aura silently declaring, "You are still far too weak." After the clash, an inexplicable familiarity halts her blade. Yibei, keeping his mask on, uses a trade as bait, forcing the former swordmaster to dance to his tune once more. The red-haired swordsman boldly demands a fair duel with suppressed cultivation. Chi Taibai agrees calmly, her eyes reflecting the confidence and mercy of a master. A mischievous smirk hides beneath Yibei's mask. This trap is set to cure her insecurity. On the sidelines, the disciples weep in worry for what is to come. At this tense moment, the scene seems to freeze. Pink skirts brush the ground, hinting at a mysterious dreamscape brewing unseen. The battle erupts. Chi Taibai strikes from above. Yibei mocks her with words, but his body instantly tightens for absolute combat. Wind roars as Yibei plummets like a meteor, black robes flapping. The closed eye on his mask seems to mock his opponent. A surprise attack? Naive. Chi Taibai's gaze is sharp. She predicts the strike instantly, dodging with elegant ease. The blade cleaves only air, catching mere after-images. Yibei stares at the empty ground, a flicker of genuine shock in his eyes. She dodged it completely? Missing his mark, Yibei stumbles back, only to be coldly lectured by Chi Taibai. Learn to observe your opponent before you attack. Before her words fade, Chi Taibai vanishes into a blur. Only a red streak remains in the courtyard. The counterattack begins. Boom! A terrifying shockwave tears up the ground. Yibei stares in disbelief as dust and debris instantly swallow everything. Dust settles. Chi Taibai stands tall, weapon in hand, coldly warning the arrogant challenger. In a life-or-death duel, arrogance is a death sentence. Realizing he's no amateur, Chi Taibai drops her guard. Purple energy swirls as her sword intent spikes. Qinglian sword technique, second style. The blade cuts through the void, trailing dreamlike purple starlight. This technique, God's pen, is filled with lethal intent. Phantoms multiply. Chi Taibai splits into countless forms, roaring as she descends. The strike falls like thunder, leaving Yibei nowhere to hide. Facing certain death, Yibei stands motionless. The smile beneath his mask grows eerie. He waits for a flaw, and in that split second, whoosh, the blade moves unseen. With a scream of pain, Chi Taibai is instantly crushed, squeezing her eyes shut in agony. Crashing to the ground, she hears Yibei's piercing mockery. Still won't unleash your power? Humiliation instantly ignites the fury in her eyes. Rage shatters reason. Chi Taibai flips in midair, hair wild, roaring as she unleashes her ultimate move, Qinglian Sword Song. The blade descends, lethal and precise, as if the masked assailant knows her every move. The silver-haired swordswoman is seized by terror. He predicts my every strike. Who exactly are you? Who am I? A mocking whisper comes from beneath the mask, followed by a sharp command. Do it! Instantly, a massive blue magic circle ignites, trapping everyone in a cage of despair. The array roars above. She kneels, head in hands, consumed by regret. Damn it, this was a carefully laid trap, and she had walked right into it unknowingly. Then, the nightmare worsens. Her power is draining rapidly. Watching her cultivation stats plummet, her pupils tremble in horror, cold sweat pouring down. How is this possible? End of chapter 14. At this moment of life and death suspense, the story pauses briefly. The gears of fate will continue to turn in the next chapter. The massive array dominates the sky, and she finally connects the dots, from the wine to the mental disturbance. It was a calculated hunt. In despair, she screams into the void, "Master!" To protect the disciple behind her, she erupts with astonishing will, screaming hoarsely, "Shaner, run! Don't come closer! I won't let anyone hurt her!" Before her words fade, the white figure shoots out like an arrow. Even knowing she is outmatched, she will carve a path of survival for her loved one with her blade. Trying to protect others when you're about to die? The masked figure mocks viciously. Facing her desperate sword wave, he merely sneers. "Useless. You all die today. Do you think sealing my cultivation makes me helpless?" In the depths of despair, her gaze hardens. Something dormant inside her is awakening. A pillar of blue energy explodes. Watching from afar, Fu Fu's heart races. Isn't Master taking this too far? Fourth sister is fighting like her life depends on it. Despite their worry, they must choose to stand down. In this moment, they have no choice but to trust their seemingly ruthless master unconditionally. Murderous intent boils over. She plummets from the sky like a vengeful meteor, carrying earth-shattering momentum as she crashes toward the ground. The strike is absurdly fast. The masked figure is shocked. How? Her cultivation is sealed, yet her speed has increased instead of decreasing. They collide violently in midair. Fists clash, bursting the air with sonic booms. This is no longer a contest of techniques, but a collision of pure will. Yet the gap in power is insurmountable. The masked figure lands a heavy punch on her, a blow so crushing it feels as if it could shatter her soul. What? With a pained cry, she is sent flying like a broken kite, crashing heavily into the dust, while the red-haired demon remains high above, watching coldly. Chi Taibai collapses, humiliated and confused. Why are her defenses useless? Yibei towers over her, his masked gaze cold. You can't even protect those around you. What right do you have to rot in despair? The atmosphere is suffocating. He steps closer, pinning all her weakness on one person. You became this way because of your master. He is the culprit. A line crossed. Violet light explodes from Chi Taibai's eyes. Fury for her master ignites a thunderous blast, sending Yi Bei reeling back in a blinding flash of energy. Yi Bei stumbles back, grinning behind his mask. That was close. But Chi Taibai stands amidst swirling energy, screaming in desperation. Insult me all you want, but never my master. Today you die. The time is now. Yi Bei stands in the void, eyes gleaming. The system chimes, reunion complete. He raises the golden gourd and roars. Extraction. Xian Yuan, sword intent. Instantly, a world-shattering white beam erupts from the gourd, slashing across the sky. The power is overwhelming, threatening to cleave the entire Taibai sword villa in two. The anomaly alerts powerful figures nearby. Eyeing the towering energy storm, greed takes over. That's Taibai sword villa. A supreme treasure must be appearing. Hurry before others claim it. A chance seen once in centuries. A figure transforms into a streak of light, tearing through the sky, rushing toward the storm's center with absolute determination. Suddenly, Shauna looks up, sensing that familiar yet violent energy. Her pupils tremble, tears bursting forth. It's her most beloved kin, sister. Fear is crushed by conviction. Shauna bites her lip, forcing her weak spiritual energy to surge. I can't die. I must protect Lady Taibai. I have to save her and Grandmaster. She charges into the fray. High above, a red-haired bunny girl seems to be blocking the way, while Shauna screams a desperate no. Before her voice fades, a devastating crimson beam crashes down, shattering the earth. As the smoke clears, Shauna arrives. Seeing the villain wreathed in lightning, she draws her sword in fury. Wicked people, I'm not done with you. A fierce strike descends, but instead of a clash of steel, there's a soft impact. Shauna slams right into her opponent's embrace with an awkward boing, and the world falls silent. The situation turns incredibly awkward. Shaner scrambles back, staring at these weirdos in bunny ears. The disciple looks helplessly at Yi Bei. Master, this. Yi Bei's grin widens behind his mask. Under their mocking gaze, Shaner burns with shame and anger. She bites her lip, cheeks flushing hot. Though outmatched, her stubborn pride refuses to yield. Don't speak of my sister like that. She's the best person in the world. Shaner roars. Yi Bei counters coldly, words cutting deep. Drunk all day, sword spirit dulled. That is your sister? I am waking her up. If I don't act, she is lost forever. Who exactly are you? Shaner asks, suspicious. Just then, a massive energy vortex forms in the courtyard. Yi Bei stands with hands behind his back, voice calm. She won't die. Absorbing this sword intent will be the greatest blessing of her life. The violent shockwave instantly blasts away the watching Saint Realm experts. Shaner watches in horror. If even these titans cannot withstand it, how can her sister survive at the storm's center? Despair floods back. While the silver-haired girl panics at the encroaching enemies, she cannot fathom her companion's calm. Meanwhile, a rooftop conversation reveals the truth. This isn't a treasure refining, but a shocking breakthrough. The clan leaders gaze greedily at the anomaly, mistaking it for a rare treasure. Avarice burns in their eyes as they plot to seize this opportunity to pave their own path to becoming emperors. Blinded by greed, the sect leaders ignore the warnings, only to be blocked by two bunny-eared maidens. With solemn expressions, they declare, "Our master is breaking through. Anyone who takes another step is an enemy of the sect." Mocking the girl's cultivation level, the enemy dives down with his sword. But in an instant, sword energy tears the earth apart, triggering a terrifying counterattack instead of breaking the defense. A massive golden palm breaks through the void, crashing down with devastating pressure. Accompanied by the earth's groan, the arrogant attack is instantly reduced to blood, mist, and debris. As the smoke clears, the survivors are horrified. This power far exceeds the divine court realm. They finally realize that this seemingly weak girl is actually a hidden half-emperor. The perpetrator casually touches her lips, annoyed that she hit too hard, as if the earth-shattering strike was just a slip-up. This nonchalant attitude instantly ignites both anger and fear in the enemy ranks. Despair spreads through the crowd. This power alone could sweep the entire city. Just then, a vast aura shoots into the sky, and a silver-haired figure bathed in golden light descends like an empress. With a sound of breaking air, the newly ascended Chi Tai Bai lands steadily, surrounded by ripples of blue spiritual energy. Her companion's anxious call is drowned out by her powerful aura. The battle is poised to erupt. Mistaking the masked man for an enemy, Chi Tai Bai points her sword at his throat. But the moment the mask is removed, the familiar smiling face freezes time. Tai Bai, your teacher came too late. Transition. The story pauses here, but the excitement is far from over. A new chapter is about to unfold. Master, Chi Tai Bai's pupils tremble, her reason screaming it's impossible. Her master died 300 years ago, and this person's cultivation is too low to be the supreme being of legend. Facing doubt, Yi Bei says nothing, simply revealing the glowing whip of gods. Its familiar aura instantly shatters Chi Tai Bai's defenses, and she tremblingly names the divine artifact. With his identity confirmed, the dynamic shifts instantly. From high above, her fellow disciples tease the kneeling Tai Bai. Fourth junior sister, we won't save you when Master punishes you later. 1,000 words dissolve into a choked sob. Master. Yi Bei gently strokes his disciple's hair, his eyes filled with pity. 300 years of grievance and longing finally find their release. No longer the intimidating sword manor leader, Chi Tai Bai is just a child crying in her master's arms. Yi Bei comforts her gently, the warmth of their reunion enough to melt the coldest ice. This scene utterly terrifies the besieging sect leaders. If a half-emperor kneels to him, how terrifying must he be? Fear instantly swallows greed, and they fall to their knees, begging for mercy. With his arm around his newly ascended disciple, Yi Bei glances indifferently at the kneeling powerhouses, his tone mocking. What? Are you all planning to stay at my Tai Bai sword manor for tea? A cold command to get lost grants them amnesty. These usually high and mighty sect leaders flee like stray dogs, terrified that a second's delay might anger this unfathomable teacher of emperors. In the quiet courtyard, Lai Yushan kneels, hesitation clouding her brow. Facing her master's imposing back, she finally summons the courage to break the silence, harboring a request difficult to voice. Bei questions why she, a semi-emperor, won't escort the disciple herself. Yushan smiles bitterly. The laws of the secret realm are strict, barring entry to the truly powerful. She is helpless to act. It is a mysterious, forbidden land that opens only once every 50 years. Even she failed to breach it years ago. Before its ancient laws, all are equal. Not even a great emperor can force their way in. Changing her tone, Yushan gazes adoringly, flattery rolling off her tongue. Since her master is invincible, surely he can handle a burden? Bei, pleased by the praise, agrees on the spot. He will take the girl. As Yushan beams with gratitude, Shaner stands thunderstruck. Watching her sister sell her out, the young girl's eyes fill with the terror and grievance of being traded like goods. Have I just been sold? Alone in the West Room, Bei focuses his mind. The system chime rings out, rewards for his breakthrough within reach. With a gleam in his eye, he decisively presses the refine button. The moment he touches it, the energy core vibrates violently. Blinding white light erupts with a screech of electricity, as if something is about to spiral out of control. Danger descends instantly. The legendary 49 Thunder Tribulation. Though basic in the cultivation world, its power here is formidable. Instantly, storm clouds roil above, and lightning snakes dance wildly, casting an oppressive aura over the city. Deep in the courtyard, the disciples are startled by the celestial phenomenon. Looking up at the night sky and feeling the terrifying pressure, they exchange glances, guessing the storm source is none other than their master. A colossal pillar of lightning pierces the heavens, threatening to pulverize everything. The girls cover their mouths in horror, their only comfort being the presence of their divine architect's sister to rebuild the ruins. The clouds disperse, revealing the stars. Amidst the ruins, Bei stands with his back to them, smoke curling around him. He coughs awkwardly, calling out weakly yet authoritatively for Chi-Tai-Bai to bring clothes. Their fears are realized. Clothes cannot survive such a tribulation. Through the broken window, the disciples stare dumbfounded at his completely naked form, leaving Chi-Tai-Bai blushing and covering her eyes in bewilderment. Seeing Tai-Bai mortified, Bei finds amusement. Leaning against the wall shirtless, a wicked grin curls his lips as he playfully teases his usually aloof, sword-immortal disciple. Why so far away? Scared I'll eat you? After a light-hearted interlude, the story continues. It's the perfect time to join the community and share these moments of joy and awkwardness with fellow cultivators. The scene shifts, night deepening. Chi-Tai-Bai stands before the door with a tray, cheeks flushed. Taking a deep breath, she calls out Master with a trembling voice, her heart racing like a wild deer. She shyly hands over the clothes. Bei accepts the tray, gently teasing her about the distance growing over centuries. But before he finishes, Tai-Bai stumbles, a startled cry instantly shattering the ambiguous atmosphere. Losing her balance, she falls like a loose cannonball, slamming heavily onto Bei. In the moment of impact, Bei feels not the softness of an embrace, but his insides screaming, "Damn, he took the joke too far." The fall lands them in a compromising position, Tai-Bai straddling her master's waist, hands pressed against his chest. Extreme shame makes her tremble violently, leaving Bei beneath her wide-eyed and blank-minded. In the panic, a mechanism seems to trigger. With a crisp mechanical click, a shudder like an electric current shoots through Tai-Bai, glazing her eyes over and stripping away all rational thought. A scream pierces the sky, startling Lai Yushan and the other disciples on the roof. Seeing their companion suddenly jolt, they exchange glances. Just what exactly is happening inside that room? Sunlight spills into the room, revealing a shocking scene. Tai-Bai freezes in embarrassment as the visitor's shock quickly turns into a teasing grin at the compromising situation. The misunderstanding escalates. As the visitors retreat with teasing winks, a blushing Tai-Bai scrambles to dress, leaving Bei to facepalm at the morning's chaotic start. In the courtyard, a magnificent spirit vessel awaits. Bei smiles approvingly at Tai-Bai's thoughtful preparation, and together, master and disciple prepare to launch. Farewell to peace. The journey ends with a violent crash. The vessel smashes onto the secret realm sign, leaving Shaner standing in the debris, utterly confused. Forced to walk by spatial turbulence, Bei warns of the dangers ahead. Suddenly, a stranger's voice cuts through the trees, interrupting their cautious advance. Claiming to be from the righteous heavenly pond, they offer protection. Shaner instantly stiffens, her guard up as she firmly rejects their suspicious kindness. Undeterred, the leader hands over a protective token. Yibei accepts it with a calculated smirk, his eyes cold. He knows exactly what game they are playing. Amidst hypocritical pleasantries, the disciples retreat hastily, sweating nervously. Yibei watches them go, the weight of the token signaling the start of a hidden scheme. Meanwhile, watching from afar, a red-haired figure broods. Past mistakes echo in his mind, a solemn warning against the arrogance that leads one into the abyss. Intermission. The saga pauses for a fleeting moment, promising that even greater adventures and darker secrets are waiting to be unveiled. Back in the forest, innocent Shaner marvels at the token, believing she met kind souls. She remains blissfully unaware of the cold reality reflected in her master's eyes. You think it's because you're pretty? Yi Bei's cold question bursts her bubble. Shaner freezes, struggling to find a reason for their help other than charity. Watching his disciple practically count money for her own kidnappers, Yi Bei facepalms. He points to the token, his voice dropping to a serious tone. Do you know what this is? The truth strikes cold. Yi Bei reveals the hidden tracking formation within the token. It's not a gift. It's a death mark to call the competition. Yi Bei gently touches her forehead, his voice grave but caring. Remember, the world's evil runs far deeper than you can imagine. Why wait? She asks. Yi Bei explains the hypocrite's code. To protect their righteous reputation, they will only strike when the shadows are deep enough. Vidashan evohis, Yi Bei Laos. His eyes gleam with predatory excitement. I'm only afraid they won't come. The hunter has just become the hunted. Deep in the forest, the Heavenly Pawn sect reveals its fangs. The leader outlines the cruel game. Survive for 10 days, collect tokens, and winner takes all. The scheme is laid bare. Distribute tokens as bait. Let others do the work, then slaughter them to harvest the rewards. A perfect, blood-soaked plan masked by righteousness. Yi Bei toys with the token, mocking the stagnation of the so-called sacred land. Suddenly, the sky roars and the earth shakes. The secret realm is opening. A massive rune hangs high, the black sword pointing toward the unknown abyss, silence heavy in the air. As a deafening roar shatters the stillness, the crowd erupts, eyes locked onto the slowly opening gates of the secret realm, trembling with anticipation. Shaner gazes at the red-haired figure beside her, palms sweating with anxiety. Yet Yi Bei merely smirks, a playful glint in his cold eyes, as if this deadly crisis is nothing more than a game in the palm of his hand. Meanwhile, the gears of destiny spin wildly. The legend of the Devil Emperor spreads like wildfire, unfolding across every corner of the continent as a new chapter begins in the dark night. Lightning crackles around the descending Devil Emperor, radiating dominance. 10 minutes later, ancient runes flicker ominously at the star sanctuary, where unseen currents clash as factions await the hunt, the air thick with the scent of gunpowder. Overlords stand high above, eyes filled with calculation. The elder of the heavenly pool's sacred land waves his hand sharply, his voice booming like thunder as he commands his disciples to seize victory at any cost, greed fully exposed. Before the echo fades, chaos erupts. The orderly formation scatters as a crimson roar tears through the air. The purple-haired elder's pupils constrict, sensing an unprecedented crisis closing in. With no time to react, terrifying beams of blue light descend like divine punishment, slamming into the defenseless disciples. Their screams are instantly swallowed by the roar of explosions, leaving only echoes of despair. Bastard! Stop! Amidst desperate roars, destructive energy ravages the field. Bodies are flung into the air, while futile attempts at defense crumble before absolute power like leaves in a storm. Watching his disciples being slaughtered, the elder's rage boils over, teeth gritted. Yet, in the eye of the storm, Yi Bei and Shaner pierce through like arrows, ignoring the fury and screams as they domineeringly charge forward. Idiots! Yi Bei scoffs, clutching at the air. A massive spectral blue hand materializes, swatting the obstructing ants aside like flies. His eyes hold no mercy, only contempt for the weak. Adios! With a mocking farewell, the two figures vanish into the brilliant light, leaving the gray-haired elder behind, face twisted, screaming in heart-wrenching, impotent rage. Violent shockwaves slam into the surroundings. Massive stone pillars crumble with a mournful groan, debris scattering everywhere. The dust cloud declares the brutal end of this surprise raid, leaving only devastation. As the smoke clears, the elders' faces turn ashen. They cannot believe that the madmen who trampled on the sacred land's dignity were mere ants at the Tongxian realm. When they come out, they are dead. Those two, I think I've seen them before. Memory rewinds to a mysterious smile in the forest. It was no coincidence. That seemingly ordinary token was a deadly bait laid long ago. The scene freezes on that hypocritical gift. It was not just a pass, but the heavenly pool's sacred land's insidious tracking jade token. An invisible net silently cast long ago to ensnare the prey. The elder grips the master token, sensing the active mark, his rage transforming into cruel satisfaction. Run? With this tracking mark, you're walking a dead end, even if you flee to the ends of the earth. With nowhere to vent his fury, the elder turns on those beside him, face twisted as he roars an ultimatum, vowing to wash away today's humiliation with their corpses, his killing intent palpable. The forest is quiet, sunlight dappled. Shaner looks at the man who slaughtered strong enemies with a laugh, a storm rising in her heart. Yi turns, the killing intent gone, replaced by a gentle smile. What, are you scared? There is no need to reason with the shameless. Yi-Bei's voice is calm, yet domineering, as if those lofty half-emperors are mere ants in his eyes. Shaner stands frozen, her worldview completely reshaped in this instant. A foul wind rises as a massive gold-patterned viper strikes, fangs bared. Shaner screams in terror, but Yi-Bei doesn't even blink, coolly reciting its stats. Only Tongxian Realm Level 3. Perfect for practice. Kill it. The massive serpent looms like a suffocating nightmare, sending the girl trembling in terror, but she finds no comfort in her master's gaze. Cold and unyielding, Yi-Bei ignores her pleas and delivers a ruthless ultimatum. Kill it, or stay here and die with it.